viewers, welcome back to another episode of my show. We all know Mr. AmruthKiran Hegde, who had joined us in my previous video to share his valuable experience about his internship in NASA. So, for today's video, I would like Mr. AmruthKiran Hegde to go ahead and give us some tips for so many students who are aspiring to get higher degrees outside India, higher degrees basically like masters and PhDs outside India, but they have a lot of doubts and questions on where to start and what path to follow so that they do not fall off track. Unfortunately, when these students come to me and ask these kinds of questions, I do not want to give them any wrong information as I do not have any educational background from the US. I am the product of Indian educational system. However, I am very fortunate to have friends like Amruth who have a master's degree and are in their PhD programs in the United States of Alabama. So welcome back, Amruth. And I would like to please go ahead and right away, without wasting a lot of time, start with the first question. So as I already mentioned that there are a lot of students who come to me and ask when, where, and how to start preparing or applying for any higher education like PhD degrees outside India. So my first question is, who can apply?
Any student, any person with a basic undergraduate degree can apply for a PhD in the United States. That is for sure. And it really helps if you also have a master's degree, but it is okay if you are applying for a PhD even right after your undergrad. So that is totally fine. What happens after if you apply after your master's degree is that you will, during your master's, you will have more, you'll be exposed to the research or to the advanced level of the field in which you have gained your master's, and that will help you put together a better application, which you probably would not be experienced with right after your undergrad. So both ways it works, but definitely you should have an undergraduate degree, and right after that you are good to go. You can apply for your PhD.
So does that also include, so what I have understood after my interaction with so many students like you, that you should have a 10 plus 2 plus 4 in your degree when you are applying. So when people like me who have a degree in basic sciences, like I did my bachelor's in chemistry, I do not think I was directly eligible to apply for any MS or PhD degree in the United States or other countries because it was not falling under the criteria of 10 plus 2 plus 4. So for people like me, I definitely need, hopefully I need masters to complete that criteria and being able to go ahead and apply. Is that correct? Because for engineering degrees, you have a undergraduate degree of 4 years where you can easily get through that criteria. But for people like us, you definitely need to have masters.
Yeah, that's a very good question, actually. So if you say in the United States, if you are applying for a PhD right after undergraduate degree, you will definitely have 4 years of undergraduate. Your undergraduate degree would be of 4 years, and you'll be good to go with the admission. But if you are if your undergraduate degree has been of 3 years, then that may pose a problem for you for when you're applying in your application. And at that time, the US university may ask you to take some supplemental courses, in your right when you start, or that again depends on your performance in your undergraduate level. So the university also doesn't have many parameters on which it can judge you, right when you have when you have completed your undergraduate degree, and that's why it looks at your GPA, and then it asks for you to complete these supplemental courses. But if you have done your undergraduate in engineering, then you can straight away apply for your there is no such problem when you apply for your PhD. The same is not like it's not the same in countries like Canada, or yeah, in countries like Canada, because there they do
Or
accept
Europe?
I'm sorry.
Or Europe?
um I am not sure about Europe, but for sure in Canada it is not, it's not so. You can apply there with a 3-year degree and move on to your advanced degree. But in the United States, there are they can ask you to complete your do some supplementary coursework which they feel. That is also true when you if the department feels that although you have a 4-year degree, you may not be of that background. So that is also true. So yeah, that would be the way to go.
All right. And how about, okay, so even before going to that question, I would like to let all the students who are trying to apply for degrees, higher degrees in the United States or countries outside India, to let them remember that even not just the criteria of the degree, but even if you have a gap in your education, or even if you are working, regardless of your age, regardless of your timings of the degree or the length of the degree that you have been through, you can still apply to higher education in India. So United States of America especially is very accepting of people from various backgrounds and various professional cultures as well. So but there are a few things that you definitely have to go through, like the English exams. So Amruth, could you please help us on what kind of English exams do the students have to prepare? How should they prepare, and how long of the time they should put on in preparation, and what kind of scores they should look for when they are applying for these courses or degrees?
So regarding the English exams, TOEFL and IELTS, these are the two standard English exams that are accepted all over the world. So I had given my TOEFL, and basically, when you are preparing for the English exam, I would recommend you to at least invest a couple of months in it, because it takes time to get used to the format of the exam. So in both of these exams, at least in TOEFL, there are 4 different sections. There is reading, there is writing, listening, and speaking. So you need to be well versed with all of these sections, and each of these sections is worth 30 points, and in total it adds up to 120. And usually the universities want you to score at least a 79 or an 80 as a total score. So I would advise you to listen, or when you're preparing for any of these exams, I would advise you to listen to the English news channels, or because they are a great help, or just listen to podcasts in the accent. So say if you are doing if you're writing a TOEFL, listen to a podcast with where there are American speakers, or or the country where you are where you're applying to. So that would be the way to do it. I did that's what I did, and I used to listen to a lot of I used to watch the news channels. That was like, this is around a decade ago. So at that time, because of lack of podcasts, I used to watch a lot of news, and that's how I got a hang of it. And also, please keep reading, whatever it is, just keep reading. Read blogs. I just do, I won't say that you only need to read editorials and newspapers. That definitely helps. and standard editorials like from the newspapers such as the Hindu, or like say international newspapers like the Washington Post. These are really amazing. They have some amazing op-eds. But if you can just read blogs and just if you have been an avid reader of say novels and all of that, then you should be good with like in your approach towards these exams.
All right. And what
Yeah.
about GRE? Is it compulsory for all the universities in the United States, or?
Uh, Pre-COVID, it was.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, pre-COVID, it was compulsory. The universities, unless yours was um, I would say, if some universities waived it off, like if you showed them enough experience and if you showed them
Okay.
that, yeah, you already had an advanced degree like a master's degree. But most of the universities did have, make it it was a compulsory part of the application. But post COVID, what we are learning is that many universities have waived it off because of say, safety concerns, and while others have retained it. So GRE is, I would still suggest preparing for GRE, giving your GRE, and just be ready with with the scores if the university asks for it. I would say that because you don't want to lose out on something because you are not
Exactly.
prepared, right? So
Right.
that's the thing. Say the university changes its mind, says that, oh, what about your GRE score, or probably we are they may just get back to you saying that we are currently reviewing your application. If you can share with us your GRE score, that would be great. If they say like that, then you should not be at a at a disadvantage. So what I would suggest is prepare for your GRE and give your GRE. Have
Yeah.
that scores
So,
ready.
right, right. So it just gives you more accessibility for to different
Yeah, yeah,
institutions when
yes,
when you
yes,
have GRE in your pocket. So just remember, any English exam, TOEFL, IELTS, or GRE, is time and money. So make sure you do it with complete focus and dedication so that you do not waste any or either of this. Is there a right timeline to apply for these degrees? Like if I want to join for a course in the fall or the spring, whatever the semesters they call it here, is there a
yeah.
right timeline to do it?
So the universities mainly accept applications for
So
say.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but could you please go ahead and just give a small a line about when does the fall semester start and the spring
Yeah, yeah,
semester?
that's what I was going to say. So the
I'm sorry.
universities mainly accept applications for spring and fall semesters. The spring semester begins every year in January, and and it runs till May usually. The fall semester begins in the month of August, and it runs till December.
Mhm.
So in between this, some universities exclusively have a winter semester. That's in like they just they cram like a couple of courses into that semester. That runs from, it's a 1 month course between in the month of December. Or they and like But most of the universities have summer course, a summer semester also, where the month of June is summer 1 and July is summer 2.
Mhm.
So but in none of the, like, as far as I've seen, the universities are not comfortable with with applications that come in the summer semesters and in the winter semester.
Mhm.
The next yeah, the highest preference is given to fall semester.
Right.
That's when the university, all the departments are ready with the allocation of their funding, and that's when they are expecting the maximum applications to come in. At least in the United States, like all the students that are done with the undergraduate, they move on to the master's or PhD degrees in the fall semester. So that has been the common trend in the United States, to have applications basically in the fall semester. So the chances of getting funding is also the highest in the fall semester.
So when should the students start applying so that they get an admit for a fall semester or
Yeah,
a
so
spring, whatever?
yeah, so usually the universities have deadlines beginning in the month of October
Mhm,
till the end of February.
mhm.
The October of 1 year and February of the next year. So this is the time period that the universities have when they're accepting applications. So the candidate, let me help you, understand that with what I did for my masters. When I wanted to apply for my masters back in 2012, so I joined in fall of 2012.
Mhm,
I gave my GRE in June of 2011,
mhm.
and then I gave my TOEFL in July of 2011. And after that, I put together all my applications for different universities. And what I did was I basically had a spreadsheet of my the shortlisted universities against the application materials, say the statement of purpose, the application itself, and my letter of recommendation, my GRE scores, and I also had the dates for those universities. So I worked with that spreadsheet, and that kept, gave me a good idea of where I'm standing with all the applications. So that's how I worked. And when for the university where I got my admission, that was in North Carolina State University.
Mhm.
For that had a deadline of February 20, I think. Yeah. So that was that was the end of February. So yeah, I made sure that my application reaches the university before that deadline, and yeah, it went forward from there.
That's perfect. You having shared your timeline gives a lot of clarity for students when they are trying to work on their
Yeah.
applications. So,
Yeah.
one question that came to my mind while you were still talking is making your application package. So it's just not a regular application, but it goes with three, four other documents.
Yeah.
Like, so can you please put light on those documents that go into the
Yeah. So
package?
the application is basically made up of the online application
Mm.
that the university has. Then you need letters of recommendation,
How
and
many?
that every university, it depends on the university. Usually they ask for three, and that depends again on the level of the degree. If it is masters, they may ask for three.
Mm.
If you're applying for a PhD program, it may be four. So, and even in these letters of recommendation, they would want a couple of them to come from your professors,
Mhm.
who can talk about your performance in academia.
Yeah.
And if you have worked in the industry, then taking one recommendation letter from your supervisor would be advantageous.
Mhm.
So that's about the letters of recommendation. Then you need to prepare something called as you need to again submit your CV. Then there are the test scores, the GRE and the TOEFL scores. Also, you can even submit your certificates that you have that are of really that you think may help your application. Some licenses or certifications that you have got, and the like. But what I would say is the most critical part of your application, what I feel is holds a lot of weightage is in your statement of purpose. So
SOP.
yeah, SOP. What this SOP can do is, like, we actually, I don't know, I feel that people sometimes underestimate the value of SOP. Say if you have not done your test well, and if you have been a good student, like not like a like an outstanding student in your undergrad, but you have passion for the field,
Mhm.
then it's this SOP can get that can get you into the university. What you need to write in your SOP is, why do you want to do what you want to do? So that if you can really word it well, if you can really write a good story again, of what how the interest in this field began, and what you have done regarding that over the years, and what are your limitations now, and what you want to do in future, and along with that, how that university can fulfill those those limitations.
Mhm.
If you can put all this in that statement of purpose, then the university will be really convinced. And I feel that that's what I did when I was doing my masters. When I wanted to do my masters, I put together, made sure that I invested that I invest a couple of months into writing the SOP. It cannot be written overnight. It's not possible. You need to, spend a good amount of time, have your friends read it, have, anyone who doesn't know you read it. And, because when they read it, they'll learn about you through that document,
Mhm.
and they'll be like, oh, okay, so, you have made, in this document, you have made a really strong case for yourself. They'll either say that, or they'll say that I really don't know what you want to do. So that is the answer that you want from them. So if you can prepare that SOP, that is a very strong part of your application.
Perfect. So these are four to five important things that can go into a package to make your admission package really stronger.
Yeah,
And SOP being one of the keys to work on and make sure, because SOP is the reflection of you when a third person who doesn't know you sitting seven seas across reading
yeah,
about you and trying to
exactly.
understand what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
So, with that, I would like to ask one more question. There are so many areas in India who do not have the right knowledge and the right information to go through all these processes, and therefore, even if the students are well deserving, hold back themselves or get off track because they just don't know what to take the steps ahead. So, do you recommend sometimes, in some cases, or in most of the cases, they should take help of the consultancies which work in India to help these students go through these application processes? One of the biggest consultancy which I know is Dilip Oak's Academy, which is very famous in Maharashtra, operates in Pune, and they have helped students for decades together. So just to mention, I do not know Dilip Oak or anybody in the academy. They do not sponsor my show. I do not get any commission from them, but I'm just giving an example.
Yeah, so I did not go through any consultancy. I put together my application with the help of a friend who was over here, who had done his undergrad over here. So I was, you can say, fortunate, but I did not take the help of any consultancy, and I do not think that you need the help of any consultancy. Whatever pertains to the application, all the information is on the website of the university. It's everything is written in detail. You can email the person, like right at the end of the web page. They give you the email where you can, to which you can write and ask the questions that you have. But um, the consultancies, they may help you. Even I know a couple of them that do the applications, but I think it's an overkill. You just need to read what is required from the university and make sure that you have a checklist of all those applications. So I don't think consultancies are required. I do not think so. You were, in this age, like during my time, you had websites like Edulix. There was another website like, GRE. I'm not able to H1bvisa.com. So, a website like that. So
Mhm.
these websites itself had a lot of information on them. I'm not endorsing these websites also, but I'm just saying that if you're looking for resources, there are a lot of them, where like there are a lot of online forums which give you good information. Reading a lot may confuse you also, but whatever questions you have after reading the university website, you can ask those questions on these forums, and there will be people who will give you the specific answers. So instead of investing in consultancies, what you can do is just concentrate on putting together the application. That's what I would say. And sometimes, as I said, the consultancy cannot write a good SOP for you. You have to
Mhm.
write it yourself. They
Mhm.
will I don't think any consultancy will sit with you for 8 hours just to know about you. They won't do that. What they'll do is we'll correct your language. We'll make sure that your SOP has a good grammar, and they may just assure you that. But the main work needs to be done by you. And as you said, like this, the university needs to learn about you, and if you put together the application yourself, then you will understand, you will put in that extra effort to make an impression.
Perfect. Yeah, I totally understand, because when you are going to hire a consultancy, they are definitely going to charge you a lot. And we are not against taking help from any consultancy if that is comfortable for you guys, and if you think that is going to save your time by shelling out some dollars. But at the same time, you can also work your way through yourselves, uh, work your way through yourselves and try to get in touch with students or seniors who are already sitting here and getting their higher degrees. At the same time, nowadays social media is very helpful. There are so many forums, as Amrut just mentioned, not just websites, but on Facebook, on LinkedIn, there are so many groups and pages in which you can just shoot out your questions and your doubts, and there will be hundreds of people trying to help you out. So, and you can get in touch with the right person who can help you through, who is already here and has gone through all this procedure. So yeah, think about it, and it's totally your choice. Take the consultancy route or do it yourself.
Yeah, if I can add one more thing. So
Sure.
like you can even do this, get in touch with a student of that university. That's it. If like that person will solve the your will
Right.
answer all of your questions that you have. Don't bug that student. Definitely that's not the way to do it. But if you get in touch with a student, write a cordial email saying that you just want to
Information
write to
about, yeah.
take some guidance from that student, then the
Right.
student will be really happy to share his or her experience.
Right. But that
Yeah,
also doesn't mean that the student has to help you. So don't
yeah,
put
yeah,
all
that's
your
for sure.
eggs
Yeah,
in
keep an
that
open
basket,
mind. Yeah,
but
yeah,
keep trying all these ways so that you also
yeah.
have the experience of dealing with all these situations. The very important question is how to find, uh, okay, so studying or living outside the country as a student brings a lot of limitations and financial dependency, because
Yeah.
you're not financial independent and the currency exchange rate is so vast that you definitely have to shell out a lot, and it is definitely very expensive to have education outside the country. It is always the best way to have funding when you are studying and taking your higher degree in the country outside India. What are the ways to find such funding opportunities? And at the same time, related to it, how do you find which professor or guide to approach before you are joining?
Yeah. So this is a very tricky question. Yeah. So there are many aspects to this. If you're an undergrad, and like if you have just completed your undergraduate degree, and if you don't have a research experience, and you're writing to a university for a PhD program, then you usually end up writing to the department and not to the professor.
Ah,
um,
okay.
yeah. So at that time, what happens, and from there, the path that starts from that point onwards is, you'll be say in an idea in a the department offers you admission. They'll say that, oh, okay, you can come on board as a PhD student. What they'll do is, they will put you on something called as a teaching assistantship.
Mhm.
And in that, as a teaching assistant, what you will do is, every semester you will take up some some responsibilities and duties as teaching assistant for under a professor. You will grade the assignments of the students, or you'll even teach a class now and then, a single class. That's what I mean. I'm not saying a course. So that's what you'll do as a teaching assistant. But if you uh, if you do enough work during your undergrad or during a master's level, and you know what field you want to do your research in, then you can straight away contact the professor of a university regarding your PhD program, regarding getting admission for your PhD
Mm-hmm.
program. So in that scenario, what happens is the professor may or may not take you as a graduate assistant. So the professor may say that, okay, the professor may say the, okay, I have this project is going on and I feel that you fit into this project,
Mm-hmm.
and I can put you as a graduate research assistant for this project. That solves all of your problems, because you're not answerable to the department anymore. You are just answerable to the professor, and you will just work as a graduate research assistant. um, uh, and also it assures admission to you, because now the professor is fine with you joining him or her. So and they ask you to put in the application to the department, and in my case, that's what I did. I by the end of my masters, I knew what I wanted to do my research in, and I wrote to the professor in my current university, and he had a spot open,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how he communicated with the department, saying that that he would like me to come on board.
All right.
So yeah, so if you know exactly what you want to work in, then yes, just contact the professor. It's up to them to accept you or not, and then apply to the university. If you're not, then still go ahead and apply to the university. There's no harm in that, but it's just that. And the universities are very tolerant in that case. They are very, they accommodate you very well. What they'll do is they'll not force you to find a professor in your first year. They'll ask you to just look around, see what see what you are interested in, and like the whole time you'll be funded. But the most important point is, do not get into a PhD program without the assurance of funding. Like, and
Okay.
assurance of, like, get that assurance from the department or the professor before coming on board, so that you are not so that you're not surprised in future. You do not want to be all alone at the end, say, where the professor says you need to look for your own funding, we cannot help you at this point, or we do not have the funding. Don't put yourself in that situation. This is for a PhD, but if you are coming for a master's, um,
Masters or a
you
bachelor's.
yeah, master, yeah, or a bachelor's, you it's difficult to for the
Mm-hmm.
department or the professor to give you any
Mm.
sort of funding. They usually yeah, in master's program, since when you say research, let me put it this way: when you say research, it means a long haul thing for the department. They it's assumed that it's for a PhD student. And in the duration of a master's program, it's difficult for any student to contribute to the scientific community by writing, like, say, two journal papers. It's not possible,
Right.
because you'll have coursework, you'll have other things going on. So in the 2 year duration, that is a mindset of the department, and that's why they may not be open to give like funding you before you arrive there. But once you arrive
Mm-hmm.
in the department, you can have a detailed meeting with the professor
Yes.
whose work interests you, and the professor may again put you as a teaching or a research assistant.
All right. Yeah. So, in situations where you definitely do not have any funding, but you still have gotten an admit to an university for a degree or a course, what kind of financial preparedness should you have when you are even working on coming to America, like the education loans in India or things like that? And can you help us understand those numbers in Indian rupees so that students have the idea of how much
Yeah,
they should have before they come to America?
yeah, yeah, for sure. Currently, every university per semester in the United States, it charges the student on an average $15,000. So that translates to approximately 10 lakh rupees. So for a
15,
master's student,
$15,000 per semester.
per semester. So that's either for like that's just for the fall semester or the spring semester. And usually a master's degree is let's say in the worst case scenario, it's a 4 semester degree. So you will end up spending 40 lakhs or even more than that. So and definitely for a PhD which runs for 5 years, you cannot even think of
Yeah.
investing so much out of your own pocket. So PhD is just doing your PhD out of your own pocket is out of question. So for a master's degree, if you're coming on board, then what I would suggest is there are several banks in back home. I come from India, so there are several banks in India that have they know that students go for masters, and they have such plans already in their as part of their policies, and like they have made it they have not, I wouldn't say easy, but they do accommodate the students. And what I would suggest is go to banks, talk to banks about your plans, and what and when you talk to bank, just tell them in detail about your degree. And if they find it convincing, then definitely they'll be out to help you. And I've had people just I may sound a bit intrusive, but I've had many of my friends who had to go on to the mortgage line. But some have also been fortunate enough to have the bank get into an agreement with them, saying that they'll pay out of their salaries post graduation
Okay.
in the job. So it's not like it's impossible. You just need to go talk in detail with the bank and just explore. Just get network and just explore about the information on this thing. So that's what I would say.
Okay, so
Yeah.
the students definitely have to have a thorough understanding of the loaning services various banks have to offer. And at the
Yeah.
same time, I want all the students to remember that when Amrut mentioned an approximately number of 15,000, it is subjected to vary from universities to universities and courses to courses. So we are not accountable for the number that we are mentioning right here. But at the same time, this number is only for the tuition of that semester. It does not include your living expenses, and that will also vary depending on the city your university is located and depending on the cost of living in that area. So keep in mind all these things and make sure that you have a strong foundation when you are trying to do applications to universities outside India for your own securedness, for your own protection, and you don't fall in a ditch when you are here. So
Yes.
another question I would like to ask you, which is not fair on you, but I still want to go ahead and ask, is what is the difference between application processes in America and countries other than America?
Oh, America has several venues for funding. That's what I would say. Like now you cannot find, I think, a country like America when it comes to funding. Here, if say for example a country like Australia, I'm not belittling Australia again. Okay, I don't, I'm not endorsing or speaking against anything, but it's just the system. That's how it is. The universities and the educational institutions over there, they are reliant on students getting scholarships. So a scholarship again doesn't, what I mean by scholarship is your tuition is covered, your living expenses are covered, you are paid monthly a decent stipend in return for nothing. Like they won't ask you for any service. So that's an ideal situation, but there are very few students who get that.
Yeah.
You need to have done brilliantly in your undergraduate degree. And that's what countries like Australia, they they want the students to do when they come on board. They want students who already have scholarships. But in US, it's not like that. You can definitely apply, and for, say, have the backup of finance when you're coming to United States. But even after you land here, you can support yourself through an on-campus job, like while studying. Or you can, if you are research oriented, then you can become a teaching assistant or a research assistant in the department. So that's what I would say is the key difference. Uh, People may say that universities in Europe are totally free. You do not pay anything when you go over there. When you study over there, I have a friend who's like who has studied over there without paying anything. I get all of that. But what I would say in United States is like the for the kind of infrastructure that you have, the opportunities that you get, you can work out things like. But I would again suggest that have that, as you were also saying, have the finance plan ready before
Yes.
you come here, so that you are not left on an island.
Yeah.
And but you can work out things like after you come over here.
Right. So before we wind up, the last question is, what is your advice for students who are trying to come for a higher degree in America or anywhere outside India?
What I would suggest is, just you may be very interested in something, in a particular topic. Again, I can speak like for people who want to do their PhDs.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you know what you're interested in, but again, find its applicability in the industry. Or if you want to go into the industry, yes, definitely find its applicability. And design your research around that application. Pick up skills that will make you employable after your degree. You can work to the utmost satisfaction of your professor, but when you graduate, the industry may want some skill set that you may not have developed in your degree. So you don't want to find yourself in a situation where you say that, oh, what did I do for 4 years or 5 years? So find make sure you are developing that skill set, that's applicable in the industry. And if you are also coming for your master's program, what I would say is, if you're coming for your master's program, then save time. That's what I would say. Save time by shortening your length of the degree. If it is possible to do it in 3 semesters, do it in 3 semesters. That will add up courses in your individual semesters, but go for it. That's what I would say. But if you are also if you want to do your PhD, fantastic. But make sure that you pick up skills that are applicable in the industry post your PhD degree.
Thank you very much for this precious message. So, students, make sure to understand the scope and opportunity of the degree that you're trying to apply, so that it will add value to you for your better, brighter, and secured future. With that, I would like to thank Amruth again for joining us today and sharing every valuable tip that is going to be helpful for so many students back home who are trying to understand this application process. I definitely am very grateful for your valuable suggestions and advice that you have given to my student friends back home. And I definitely think that these tips are very, very helpful for all the students who are working on this application process. I would like to wish a great and successful life to all the aspiring students back home. And thank you again very much, Amruth. With that, I would like to take your leave. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.